Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Miller and I'm the author of the Change of Seas book series. And today we are visiting the Penn Museum in Philadelphia. Today we're at the University of Pennsylvania Museum, the new Middle Eastern Gallery, which I'm very excited to see today. The first thing that I saw that I think is really wonderful is they had this whole board of different writing that all kind of came off of the same branch. And the time period that we're exploring in my books is 1600 BC. And a lot of these languages started to branch off around that time. So you had Linear A, you had Egyptian writing, and then Linear B came along. You have the Phoenician writing, you have Old Hebrew. So I thought this was a really good example of how language evolved. They also gave some examples of, a cuneiform tablet and stylus. And then they also showed a piece of parchment with pen, which you would use with ink. Now, they also use parchment and papyrus. That's a thicker example, but what they would do is they would fold them into packets, like envelopes, and then they would tie string around them to seal them. And then on top of that, they would put clay and stamp onto that clay. And when that packet was opened, it would break the clay, much like we do today when we use our own seals with wax. And you can tell when the wax is broken. So they had a similar system in place even at 1600 BC. So in this case, they have an ingot fragment of copper from 1500 to 1450 BC from Gornia, Crete. Now, what's amazing about that is copper was so essential to this culture, and creating bronze was 90% copper and 10% tin. So you really needed copper, and tin is a very rare metal. It's very difficult to find. So here they have an example of a bronze bowl right here in the center. Now that's a little bit later, and that's from Cyprus, but it's still bronze. And then next to that, they're saying, is an ingot, that's number 3. It's a fragment of glass from Egypt. And then next to it, this is a fascinating one. This is a box lid made of hippopotamus ivory from about 1500 to 1300 BC in Cyprus. Now, a lot of people think that it's elephant ivory when we talk of ivory with these cultures, and it's not. A lot of it was hippopotamus ivory. And that is just a gorgeous example. And I've talked about the scale of these artifacts. Look how tiny these are. And think about the archaeologists that are digging for these tiny little things and having to preserve them.